10 hidden yet incredible changes you must make this month for life-changing peace revealed. Emma's heart raced as she scanned the colorful flyer, her eyes locking onto the words like a lighthouse in a storm. 10 hidden yet incredible changes you must make this month for life-changing peace. It sounded impossible. A woman so overwhelmed with 2 jobs, her always kept promises to Lucas and Mia, and a pocket full of fears, now staring at a beacon of hope. She pinned the flyer back onto the lamppost, feeling an inkling of excitement, something fresh in her dull routine. Later that evening, after a hasty dinner of boxed mac and cheese, complete with their shared complaints, she dropped the news. "I'm going to a workshop. It'll help," she said, her voice wobbly. Lucas rolled his eyes while Mia's brows furrowed in disappointment. "But we'd rather have you home," they said, a whispered echo of their broken family. This was just another reminder of the life they had lost, crumbling like the empty storefronts lining their street. As Emma walked into the local library, she felt a sense of unease. The air was rich with the scent of aging pages, but the peeling paint invited memories of better times. Familiar faces greeted her, including her best friend Sarah, who had just lost her job. They exchanged tight hugs, their connection an unspoken promise that they would navigate this struggle together. Emma's heart wavered for a moment, until the workshop leader's calm voice cut through her whirlwind thoughts, guiding them through breathing exercises meant to clear away doubts and fears. Self-care. How selfish it felt amidst her relentless grind. But standing there, surrounded by women sharing their stories, she began to soften. She imagined being the mother her children needed, not just the provider who worked late shifts at a diner and cleaned office buildings. Each breath in felt more like acceptance, and each breath out blew away a layer of her disbelief. But then came the real struggle. At home, Mia and Lucas retreated further into their grief as Emma tried to apply those workshop principles. They were still angry. Angry that their father had left, angry that everything had changed, most of all, angry that they felt like a burden to their mother. Emma watched helplessly as they pushed her away. She felt the shadows growing deeper in their small home, pushing the walls closer together with the weight of silence. Days passed, and just as she thought things might change, she received news that sent fear crawling into her chest. Layoffs at the diner, and Sarah was part of that grim announcement. What would happen if she lost her job too? Panic surged through her. Exhaustion mounted, and it all came to a head during a chaotic evening filled with misplaced papers and a forgotten school project. "Why can't you just try harder to help?" Lucas shouted, and Emma's heart splintered. She realized then that solutions alone wouldn't fix everything. At the workshop's concluding session, she felt a shift. The discussion had turned to community struggles. A moment of outrage bubbled in her chest when they collectively shared stories of local injustices happening right within their own neighborhood. Standing tall, Emma called out the unfairness, the exploitation of workers, the growing divide among neighbors. In that moment, she felt the entire room's energy shift. It was an awakening not just for her but for everyone, a push toward reclaiming their community and bringing everyone along. As the connections deepened, Emma felt hope returning, sparking like fireflies on a summer night. Maybe they could create change together, as families and neighbors. It was a new chance to become a family again, one that begins to forge deeper ties, not just for her children but for everyone around her. Would Emma embrace this renewed purpose, or would she allow fear to lead her into solitude once again? Only time would tell, as the weight of her decisions loomed like a question in the back of her mind. Emma couldn't shake off the lingering energy from the workshop. It pulsed in her chest as she stepped through the front door of her home, where Mia and Lucas were now sprawled on the living room floor, each absorbed in their own world. The soft glow of the TV flickered like a heartbeat, but the atmosphere was heavy with silence. "Hey, you guys," Emma said, her voice upbeat, but it felt like a pebble thrown into still water. There was no ripple, just tension. Mia didn't look up, and Lucas mumbled something barely audible. "Look, I think we should talk," Emma pushed forward, not ready to let the silence win. She needed to connect, to bridge the growing gap. "About what?" Lucas shot back, finally making eye contact, his eyes full of defiance and hurt. "About this family. About us." Emma's heart raced. She was treading on fragile ground. Each word seemed to carry the weight of all their unsaid feelings. "I went to this workshop, and it made me realize, we've been through so much together, and I don't want to just be the person who provides." Mia finally turned her head, curiosity sparked by the urgency in Emma's tone. "What does that even mean?" "It means I want us to do more than just live together with hurt," Emma replied, stepping closer. "I want to understand how we can support each other. I'm tired of us being angry and lonely." Lucas crossed his arms, his expression still guarded. "But you're the one who keeps leaving us. First Dad, now you." Emma's stomach twisted. His words reminded her of the constant ache that settled deep in her bones, the guilt of not being enough. "I have to work, Lucas. I'm trying to provide for us. But I realize I need to do more than just keep us afloat. I want to find peace together." Mia glanced at her brother, and for the first time, Emma could see a crack in their wall of resentment. "What did they say at the workshop?" Mia's voice was softer now, almost hesitant. Emma felt a rush of relief. "They talked about community. About standing together and facing challenges together. I think we should do something, maybe reach out to our neighbors. Form some kind of support network." "What does that even look like?" Lucas asked, the challenge still in his voice, but she could see it was mixed with interest now. "I don't know yet, but we could organize a block party, invite everyone. Share stories. We can figure things out together," Emma suggested, her excitement bubbling over. "We could even help each other with jobs, babysitting, anything." Silence stretched momentarily, but it felt different. It was charged with a possibility she hadn't felt in a long time. "But what if nobody wants to join?" Mia asked, fear lacing her voice. "That's a risk," Emma admitted. "But it's worth it, right?" Lucas shifted his weight, contemplating, and the tension in his face began to soften. "Maybe it could help distract us from everything." Emma's heart fluttered with hope. "Exactly. We could start small. Remember the tree lighting ceremony last year? People came together for that, they loved it." Mia perked up now. "We did have fun at that. Maybe we can make our block really festive." Emma found encouragement in their willingness to engage. "What if we all wrote down ideas for the block party this week? We can meet up, share, and plan. Maybe it'll start the healing process." They all stared at each other, a fragile thread of connection forming in that moment of vulnerability. As Emma walked to her room later that night, she felt a flicker of something warm in her chest. Perhaps this was the turning point she had longed for. Maybe they could write a new chapter together, but a shadow of doubt still lingered in her mind. Would their fear of change stop them before they could even begin? She fell asleep with that question echoing, uncertain of the fragile new path they had begun to explore. How could she ensure they escaped the cycle of anger, or would fate deal them one last hand of adversity before they could truly rise? The next morning, Emma woke up to a sunlight streaming through her window, filling her room with warmth. It felt different today, lighter. Yet, the uncertainty from last night's conversation tangled in her thoughts like fishing line. Even the sun couldn't completely shake it off. As she sat on the edge of her bed, she glanced at the clock. She had to get moving. She wanted to put today's plan into action. It was time to gather ideas for the block party. "Hey, Mia," Emma called out as she went to the kitchen. "You up yet?" "Barely," Mia replied, peeking around the corner, her hair a wild tangle. Emma couldn't help but smile. It was nice to see a little bit of life return to Mia's face, even if it was with a dose of morning grump. "Let us have breakfast, then we can brainstorm some ideas for the party," Emma suggested, trying to keep her tone light and encouraging. "Do we have to?" Mia groaned, plopping down at the table like a deflated balloon. "Think of it as a fun mission." "I need your creativity," Emma said, enthusiasm bubbling inside her. As the three of them came together for breakfast, Emma prepared a quick spread of toast and fruit. The air was filled with the scent of coffee, mixing with the faint trace of last night's supper lingering in the kitchen. "All right, team. What is our first order of business?" Emma asked, trying to keep the mood supportive. Lucas chewed on his toast thoughtfully. "I think we should make it inclusive, you know. Like games for younger kids and maybe a contest for the adults." "Yeah, that could work. I could make cookies for the bake sale," Mia offered, her tone perkier now. Emma could see the spark return to her sister's eyes. Emma felt her heart swell. "Great. And we'll put up decorations to make everything festive. Maybe even a place to share stories about the neighborhood." They spent the next hour bouncing ideas back and forth, light laughter breaking through their earlier tension. Emma's heart danced as she watched them slowly come alive, her little family connecting in a way they hadn't in ages. "Okay, so who is handling inviting our neighbors?" Lucas asked, wiping crumbs from his shirt. "I can do that part," Mia chimed in, her excitement building. "I mean, I can put together a flyer." "You sure?" "It could be a little embarrassing," Lucas warned, but Emma saw the determination shining in Mia's eyes. "No way. You can totally do this." Mia nodded solemnly, a smile creeping onto her lips. And for the first time in a while, Emma felt the weight of their past lift slightly. Once breakfast was cleaned up, Emma suggested they take a walk around the neighborhood. "We should draft our invite ideas while we move. Get the lay of the land." As they walked through familiar streets, they began to envision their community as something alive, a patchwork of people with stories, hopes, and dreams. Emma couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and trepidation. What if the neighbors didn't respond? What if no one came? But the little glances exchanged between Mia and Lucas fueled her determination. For them, she faced the unknown head-on. When they arrived back home, they sat around the kitchen table once more, armed with pens and paper. Ideas flowed with buoyancy, sketching decorations, listing food items, and planning the layout of the party. Suddenly, Lucas's phone buzzed, an incoming text. "Who is that?" Emma asked, trying to sound casual, but inside, her heart raced with curiosity. "Just a group chat from some friends," Lucas replied, his brow knitted with concentration. "Tell them about the party," Mia exclaimed, her excitement palpable. "Maybe they'd want to help," Emma suggested, her voice filled with hope. He hesitated. "Would they care enough?" Emma reached out and gently nudged him. "You never know unless you ask." As Lucas typed out a message, Emma couldn't shake off the feeling that their little family wasn't alone in this effort. Maybe, just maybe, their neighbors would surprise them, but would they face more resistance than redemption when the time came to come together? Emma's heart thumped with anticipation. As they watched Lucas' screen flicker, she knew this was only the beginning. But what she didn't expect was the overwhelming wave of shared stories that would come crashing down on them next. The next afternoon was bright and bustling. Emma could hear the sounds of laughter and chatter emanating from the park down the street. Filled with new energy from their brainstorming session earlier, she decided it was the perfect time to reach out to the neighbors. "Okay, people," she said, standing in the center of their living room. "It's time to make those flyers." Mia was perched on the couch, a multitude of colored markers surrounding her like a rainbow army. "This is so exciting," she exclaimed, eyeing the blank paper like it was a canvas waiting for art. Lucas, still leaning against the doorway, crossed his arms. "I can't believe you're so pumped about making flyers." "Think of it this way," Emma said, "this can make everyone feel included. It's not just paper, it's a chance for connection." With a deep sigh, Lucas walked over and plopped down next to Mia. "Fine. Let us see what we can do to make this epic." As they worked, drawing and scribbling ideas, laughter filled the room. Each doodle seemed to breathe life into the concept of the block party. The flyer transformed into a colorful explosion of joy, filled with promises of fun games, homemade goods, and heartwarming conversations. Then there was a knock at the door. Emma glanced at Lucas, who raised an eyebrow. "Should I get it?" he asked. "Why not?" Emma replied, her excitement bubbling. The moment felt right, like it was just another step forward. Opening the door revealed Mrs. Thompson, the elderly woman from next door. Her blue cardigan seemed to flicker like the bright sky. "Good afternoon, dears. I hope I'm not interrupting anything." "Not at all," Emma said, stepping aside. "We are actually working on flyers for the block party." Mrs. Thompson's eyes lit up. "A block party? What a lovely idea. I live for those gatherings. Can I help?" Without hesitation, Emma grabbed one of the flyers and presented it. "Absolutely. We want everyone involved. What ideas do you have?" As Mrs. Thompson examined the flyer, a bright smile stretched across her face. "I could bake my famous lemon bars," she exclaimed. The enthusiasm flowed through her words. "And maybe I can gather the old folks for a bingo tournament?" Mia and Lucas shared a glance, their faces lighting up at the prospect. "That sounds amazing," Mia said. Suddenly, Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her. This was what they needed, the community coming together. She turned to Mrs. Thompson. "Do you think you could tell more people about it?" "Of course. I'll spread the word like butter on toast," she laughed, hearty and full of spirit. With Mrs. Thompson on board, Emma felt a lightness in her heart. This gathering wasn't just about reconnecting with their neighbors. It was uncovering hidden treasures from the past and forging bonds anew. The collaboration continued to unfold. As the sun began to dip low in the sky, Emma's phone buzzed with a text from Lucas' friends. "They want to help with setting up the games," he shouted, disbelief mixed with hope in his voice. "See?" Emma beamed. "This is it. People want to be part of this." Yet just as she reveled in the moment, a different sort of worry crept back in. She turned to face her family. But what if it all falls apart? What if no one shows up? Mia reached out, squeezing her hand. "We've already started something great. Besides, we'll make those connections, whether there's 10 or 100. Emma blinked back, tears, gratitude filling her. This was it, the spark of hope intertwined with vulnerability. As they settled into deeper conversations about themes and ideas, Emma felt it again. That trembling feeling between excitement and fear, a tightrope walk over the unknown. With every new ally gained, her hope blossomed, yet her worries lingered. How do we keep this energy up? Lucas pondered aloud. Just then, they heard another knock at the door. Emma's heart skipped. Would it be someone else joining their cause? Or the missing piece of the puzzle they needed? With a quick glance at Mia and Lucas, she knew she would find out soon. Maybe, just maybe, the surprises were far from over. Emma's pulse quickened as she opened the door once more, half expecting another neighbor eager to join their vision. Yet a chill ran through her when she saw Tom, the tall guy from across the street who rarely engaged in neighborhood activities. He stood there, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, a hesitant look on his face. "Hey, Emma. I heard you guys are planning a block party," he stammered, his voice barely rising above the gentle rustle of leaves. "Yeah. We're making flyers and everything," Emma said, forcing her excitement through her nerves. "Do you want to come in?" Tom stepped inside, uncertainty shadowing his movements. "Actually, I was wondering if I could help out. My sister has a catering business, and she could whip up some snacks. I mean, if that's cool." "Cool. That's amazing," Emma exclaimed, her optimism buoyant. Mia and Lucas exchanged glances, their eyes wide. They hadn't expected this from Tom, a guy whose aloofness always made him seem uninterested in the neighborhood. "I'm not used to, this whole thing, but I figured if people are going to show up, we should have food," he continued, fidgeting with his shirt collar. "Absolutely. That's the heart of every gathering," Mia added, her enthusiasm infectious. As they integrated Tom into their brainstorming session, Emma felt a different warmth enveloping her heart. It was remarkable how one person stepping forward could shift the whole atmosphere. "Any games in mind?" Tom asked, his confidence slowly emerging. Lucas grinned. "We were thinking of tug-of-war, maybe a pie-eating contest." "I have an idea," Mia chimed in, her eyes sparkling. "How about a scavenger hunt? We could have clues and prizes for the kids." Emma felt her heart swell. The group was forming, their energy lifting her. They crowded around the table, throwing out ideas, laughter swirling in the air like fireflies at twilight, but just then, the worry crept back again. Emma felt the knot in her stomach tightening. What if it gets too big? What if we can't handle it? She blurted out, steamrolling over the jubilant moment. "We just take it one step at a time," Lucas said reassuringly. "We're building a community, Emma, remember? We can lean on each other." Emma nodded, but a part of her heart remained apprehensive. What if their excitement crumbled under expectation? How could she ensure everyone felt welcome when so many different personalities would gather in one space? Suddenly, Mia's voice cut through the tension. "What if we ask everyone to bring something of their own? A dish or a game? That way, it'll be a collaboration. Everyone feels included." "That's brilliant," Tom said, his eyes lighting up. I could do some sort of flyer for my sister's catering business too. Maybe she can get more recommendations from this. Let us do it." Emma felt hope ignite again, mingling with her trepidation. The pulse of something bigger began to charge the air around them. They spent the next hour sketching out more ideas, planning out who to invite, and imagining the look on everyone's faces as they welcomed each other. Emma could already picture the laughter, the clink of dishes, the near symbiotic energy of community coming together. As they wrapped up, she felt the vibrance of possibility swelling in her chest, almost transforming her fear into something tangible. They were building something real, something beautiful. But lingering in the back of her mind was a question: what would happen when the day arrived? Would they manage the expectations? Just then, Emma's phone buzzed again, a message from her old high school friend, someone she hadn't spoken to in years. The text read, "I heard about your block party. Can I bring my kids? They could really use something fun to do." Emma stared at the screen, A mix of excitement and anxiety rushing through her. Could this connection mean more than just a block party? Was it a way to rekindle friendships lost in the shuffle of life? With a deep breath, Emma took a moment to gather herself, feeling the weight of anticipation and fear gurgle in her stomach. This was just the beginning, but the unknown loomed large. What would she say in reply? Would she invite more old friends? And what treasures from their shared past would come flooding back? Emma's heart raced as she considered the text. Her fingers hovered over her screen, unsure of how to respond. After all these years, it felt so daunting to reach out, yet the hope fluttering in her chest urged her on. She quickly typed back, "Of course. The more, the merrier. Would love to see you and the kids." With a press of the send button, her emotions twisted into a knot of hope and fear. What if things felt awkward? What if they had drifted too far apart? Silencing her doubts, she started to picture her old friend Heather, her vibrant laugh, and the long summer days spent together at the park. Emma hadn't thought of those memories in so long, and it dawned on her that the block party could become a bridge to those lost connections. Who was that? Mia asked, her curiosity palpable as she leaned across the table. "Oh, it was Heather, my old friend. She wants to bring her kids," Emma replied, her voice tinged with excitement. "Perfect. More kids means more fun, and it's a chance for you to reconnect," Mia said, her enthusiasm bubbling like a fizzy drink. After their initial setback, the energy in the room surged again. Tom began jotting down a list of potential games and activities, while Lucas reached for his phone to look up ideas for the scavenger hunt templates online. Emma watched them, feeling a warmth radiate through the room. This was it. The spark of community she had longed for, but as the preparations continued, a flicker of doubt crept back. Emma glanced at the time and swallowed hard. Did she really think she could juggle all of this? "Hey, do you guys think we need a backup plan? Just in case something goes wrong?" she asked, her anxiety surfacing. Tom paused, tapping the pen against the table. "What is on your mind? What if we don't have enough food? What if nobody comes? Or worse, that we run out of games before the kids get bored?" Emma's voice cracked as her fears spilled out. Mia shot her a reassuring glance. "Every detail doesn't need to be perfect, Emma. It's about connecting, not competing." "Exactly," added Tom, his serious expression softening. "Let us have fun with this. Remember, we're all in it together." Emma sighed, letting the pressure seep out of her shoulders. She needed to breathe. The worries could wait. This wasn't just about the party. It was about them, these people she was bringing together, and the possibility of something greater. Suddenly, the door swung open again, and Emma turned. There stood Mrs. Miller, their local historian and quirky neighbor, her arms laden with freshly baked cookies. "I couldn't help but hear about your block party," she exclaimed, a twinkle in her eye. Emma felt a jolt of urgency. Everyone in the neighborhood was starting to come together in unexpected ways. What if more neighbors followed Mrs. Miller's example? "Would you like to help out?" Emma asked, her voice warming to the idea. Mrs. Miller's smile widened. "Absolutely. I've got some stories from back in the day that could add charm to the festivities." As she stepped inside, bringing a whiff of chocolate-chip cookies with her, Emma noticed something remarkable starting to unfold. Each person was offering their unique spark, creating a tapestry of inspiration and creativity. Just then, her phone buzzed again. The screen lit up with another message from Heather. "By the way, just heard a few other old pals might join us too." Emma's heart swelled. This was turning into more than she had dreamed. But a nagging question still floated in the air: how could she keep this momentum going? What else was on the horizon? With the afternoon slipping into twilight, and exciting possibilities swirling around in her heart, Emma felt the pull of the unknown drawing closer. She could sense a change brewing in the neighborhood, but was she ready to embrace it? Emma woke up the next morning with a mixed bag of excitement and nerves simmering in her chest. The day of the block party was just a week away, and she felt a flutter of anxiety as she pictured the neighbors she hadn't interacted with in years. Could she really lead this? Would her neighbors feel the same spark she did? After breakfast, she decided to take a walk around the neighborhood. The sun cast a golden hue on the houses, their lawns vibrant and alive with blooming flowers. As she strolled, she couldn't help but visualize families gathering, laughter spilling from backyards, and kids dashing around in games and joy. She spotted Mr. Thompson, the grumpy old man from next door, trimming his hedge. Emma hesitated for a moment. They hadn't spoken in years. Then she remembered Mrs. Miller's enthusiasm and pushed her doubts aside. "Hey, Mr. Thompson. We're having a block party next weekend. You should come." He looked up, his gaze softening just a fraction. "Is that right?" "Sounds loud," he muttered, but she noticed the hint of curiosity in his eyes. "It can be noisy, but it'll be fun. We'd love to have you join us," she said, her voice infused with hope. He raised an eyebrow but didn't shut her down. "Well, I might think about it," he replied, returning to his hedges with a small nod. A bit of warmth ignited in her heart. It wasn't a complete dismissal, and perhaps that was enough to cling to for now. Next, Emma's path led her to the park, a favorite spot from her childhood. Sitting on a bench, she took a deep breath, absorbing the sights and sounds. A children's soccer game unfolded nearby, and the competitive shouts reminded her of her own childhood. The memories rushed back, tinged with laughter and friendship. "That's it," she thought, inspiration striking like lightning. What if they could have a mini soccer challenge at the block party? A friendly competition might ignite that sense of community she was longing for. When she returned home, her mind buzzed with ideas. Lucas was still in bed, but Mia was already scrolling through her tablet. "I have an idea," Emma said, her face lighting up the room. "What if we plan a fun soccer game for the kids?" Mia nodded excitedly. "That sounds awesome. They'll love it. Maybe we can involve the parents too." Emma's heart danced with anticipation. This wasn't just about the kids, it was an opportunity for everyone to join in, to break the ice and foster connections among parents who may have felt as isolated as she had. As they gathered the supplies for the party, Emma thought about how she could create an inclusive atmosphere. What if she included a spot for sharing stories while sipping lemonade? Or maybe a photo booth area where memories could be captured. However, as the excitement surged, another wave of doubt clawed its way back. What if it's all just too much? She whispered to Mia, whose confidence always seemed unshakable. What if no one wants to join? Mia looked her straight in the eyes. That's the risk. But it also could be amazing. You have to believe that what you're creating is worth it. Emma nodded, absorbing her friend's words, the weight of them settling in her heart. Just as she was feeling grounded again and ready to embrace the challenges ahead, her phone buzzed with another notification. This time, it was from Heather. "Can't wait for the party. Just spoke to an old friend who might come." Emma's heart raced at the thought of reconnecting with people she had lost touch with. A journey back to friendships that seemed lost. But along with that excitement came that jittery question, would all of this be enough to truly bring them back together? With the party approaching, the whispers of excitement echoed in her mind, drowning out her insecurities. Emma realized that reconnecting was more about courage than perfection, and she was ready to take that leap. But then another text came through, one that would shift everything. Just found out about a neighborhood crisis, we need to talk. Now, Emma was left wondering what this new complication could mean for her plans. Was she truly prepared for what lay ahead? Emma stared at her phone, the words pulsing through her mind like a warning bell. A neighborhood crisis? What could that possibly mean? Her heart raced, the vibrant visions of her block party felt suddenly fragile, as if they might shatter at any moment. "Hey, Mia," she called, her voice tight, needing to share the news. Mia, who had been rummaging through streamers for the party, turned to face her. "What is up?" Emma held out the phone. "It's Heather, something has happened in the neighborhood, and she wants to talk." A grim look crossed Mia's face as she read the message. "Maybe it's nothing," she suggested, but the uncertainty hung heavy for both of them. "Yeah, but what if it is something serious?" Emma's voice went quiet, the prospect of the block party now feeling like it was built on shaky ground. "What if it affects everyone?" Mia stepped closer, her brow furrowing. "We need to call her. She'll have more details." After a few moments of dialing, Emma's heart beat faster, not just from excitement but from the anticipation of what lay ahead. "Hey, Heather," she said, when her friend picked up. "I saw your text. What is going on?" There was a pause on the other end before Heather spoke. "Emma, I saw a notice from the city about possible street repairs next week. It might interfere with the party." "Repairs?" Emma echoed, the wind knocked out of her sails. "When?" "Next weekend. Right when you're planning the block party." The air in the room felt charged, her dream beginning to slip away like sand through her fingers. "But we've planned so much," she murmured, desperation creeping in. As if sensing her despair, Heather hurried on. "I know. But we might be able to move the celebration to the park just across the street. I heard they've reserved it for events. We can still have it just in a different spot." Emma took a deep breath, trying to absorb this new possibility. The park could actually be better, but it would mean starting over in some ways, sending out new invites, arranging logistics, and hoping all the neighbors got the word in time. But what if everyone can't make it? What if it causes even more chaos? Mia interjected, "You're running with this party now. Things change, and that's okay. Just think of all the people who really want to reconnect. It could still be amazing." Emma nodded slowly, her hope flickering back to life like the fading embers of a fire. "You're right," she said, her voice gaining strength. "Let us reach out to them, tell everyone about the change and how they can still come." "Definitely." Mia grinned, her enthusiasm infectious. "Let us send a new group text. And I don't know why we didn't think of this sooner. There's even a big open area in the park for the soccer game." Smiling at the thought, Emma felt the anxiety swell but also bend into ideas. "Okay, we can do this. Let us make it happen." But just as she was about to set to work, another notification pinged on her phone. She glanced down, reading the screen quickly. Guys? It's the neighborhood group chat. They want to discuss the crisis, and they've invited." Emma hesitated for a moment, her breath catching. "Mr. Thompson." Her stomach flipped, wondering if he thought she brought this on somehow. But Mia squeezed her wrist gently. "This is big. We can prepare a united front, and show everyone we're not giving up." As Emma considered her options, she felt a swell of determination. She knew they could navigate this together. The park party was still a chance for connection. "Let us meet up tonight with the others. We'll bring cake. You know, to sweeten things up." With renewed resolve, Emma felt hope spark anew. A crisis could be an opportunity, but could they truly rally together to face it? The thought buzzed in her mind as she crafted a new message for the group chat, excitement tempered by the weight of responsibility, but as she hit send, she felt a chill run through her. What if it was Mr. Thompson's displeasure with her after all? What if it all unraveled just when it seemed to come together? As evening turned to dusk, the air thickened with both promise and uncertainty. Emma took a deep breath, ready to take on whatever came their way. But would the tensions between the neighbors surface in unexpected ways? Could a crisis truly bring them together? The sun dipped below the horizon, streaking the sky with vibrant oranges and soft purples. Emma grabbed her bag, ready to gather with the neighbors. She felt her heart race again, but this time it was tempered by a mix of excitement and hope. The weight of what was at stake pressed down on her. This wasn't just about a block party, it was about unity, about rebuilding connections that had frayed over time. As she stepped outside, the familiar sounds of the neighborhood greeted her. Children's laughter echoed across yards, and neighbors waved as they tended to their gardens. If she could just harness their energy, she thought, maybe they could overcome the crisis together. Mia was already at the agreed meeting spot, a small clearing in the park, where they could set up for the night. "Hey, there you are! I brought my mom's famous chocolate cake," she called out, enthusiasm sparkling in her eyes. Emma couldn't help but smile. Perfect. Everyone loves chocolate. Together, they began to arrange the picnic table, pulling out party essentials, while Emma occasionally glanced at her phone, half expecting a message from Mr. Thompson. The mere thought sent a shiver down her spine. Just then, a few neighbors started to trickle in. First, Mrs. Delgado, who had lived on the block longer than anyone else, and then the Parker family, arriving with their two rambunctious kids. Laughter filled the air, breaking down the walls of anxiety Emma had carried. "Is this party still happening?" Mrs. Delgado exclaimed, her smile warm and inviting. "I heard about the changes, but I'd love to help however I can." The words flowed like a cool breeze. Emma felt a lightness in her chest. Yes. It's still on, just in the park instead of the street. We're planning to bring everyone together despite the repairs. Good. I'll grab some drinks. Mr. Parker chimed in, already heading back to his car. As they sorted through the preparations, Emma felt her worries begin to diminish, only to resurface every time she thought of the neighborhood group chat. Would they all rally together, or would Mr. Thompson's discontent sour the evening? Hours passed, filled with laughter, food, and the kind of chatter that turned strangers into friends. The atmosphere felt alive, pulsing with the shared stories and anecdotes of a neighborhood longing for connection. Finally, the group gathered under a shaded tree, and Emma felt the moment was right to address the elephant in the room. Clearing her throat, she raised her hand. "Thank you all for coming tonight. It means a lot to me and to all of us. We're here because we care about each other and our neighborhood. Even with the street repairs happening, we shouldn't let a little chaos stop us from having fun together." The crowd murmured in agreement, nodding as if her words had struck a chord deep within them. "Let us open the floor. How do we feel about approaching Mr. Thompson together? Maybe as a united group?" she suggested, searching their faces for support. The pause that followed felt heavy. Emma glanced around at her neighbors, trying to read their expressions. If her passion was contagious enough, maybe they would see it too, not only as a gathering for a party but as a call to act. But before anyone could respond, a familiar voice sliced through the air. "What is all this?" Mr. Thompson stood just beyond the gathering, arms crossed, his expression difficult to read. The collective breath held by the group felt almost tangible. Emma's heart raced again, this time not just from excitement but from potential confrontation. Could the spirit of togetherness truly hold up against the wave of his discontent? As she locked eyes with Mr. Thompson, determination surged within her. "We're here for each other," she thought, ready to put her heart on the line. What could Mr. Thompson's arrival mean for their efforts, and could they face him as one? Silence filled the air as Mr. Thompson stepped closer. Emma's heart raced, 1,000 thoughts weaving through her mind. Was he here to shut them down? To dismiss their hope? She took a deep breath, and just as the group began to fidget nervously, she decided to speak. "Mr. Thompson, we're really glad you're here," Emma said, her voice steady though her insides churned. "We're just gathering to support each other through the repairs and plan our block party. We think it's important to come together, to build stronger connections." His eyes narrowed slightly, but she noticed a flicker of something: curiosity. Uncertainty. "A block party in the park, huh?" he replied, his tone still guarded. "You really think that'll help?" Emma nodded, feeling brave. "I do. I believe if we share our stories, our laughter, even our recipes, it brings us closer. We can help each other out too. And it would be a chance to break the ice, reconnect as neighbors over the past distance between us." He studied her, and for a moment, Emma felt like she was on stage, both vulnerable and exposed. Would he see the community blossoming around them? Would he dismiss the idea as naive? "Your enthusiasm is admirable," he finally said, his voice softer but still carrying a critical tone. "But it won't be easy. Old hurts run deep." "I know that," Emma replied, her heart racing with sincerity. "I didn't expect it to be. But we have to start somewhere. We want you there, Mr. Thompson, because everyone deserves to be heard and appreciated." As the murmurs of agreement rippled through the group, Emma caught sight of Mia and Lucas, their faces illuminated with a fragile hope. The magic of their connection began to grow stronger. The barriers between neighbors, old and new, started to feel more like connectable threads. Mr. Thompson held her gaze, and for a brief moment, she felt as if he were weighing the options in his mind. "All right," he finally said, taking a step forward. "I suppose you might be onto something." He seemed to struggle against something deep within, but the tension in his shoulders relaxed. "I'll bring some of my famous barbecue if we're doing this." Cheers erupted around them, mingled with laughter and the sense of a friendly competition rising in the air. Emma felt the knot in her stomach loosen. It was happening, they were doing this together. Emma fought back tears. Finally, after all the heartache, they were reaching for each other. She realized it didn't matter how it started but that it was growing. All it took was for one person to open a door for others to follow. That night, as she retired to bed, the skies outside twinkled as if echoing her excitement. The block party was just days away and excitement buzzed through her like electricity. Emma chuckled softly, recalling Mr. Thompson's huffy exterior, and now his unexpected enthusiasm. She thought about her kids, her neighbors, and everyone who had joined this journey. She found herself hoping for a celebration of unity. A chance to share laughter, memories, and dreams, something that could last far beyond just the one day. The next morning, as the sun stretched across the sky, Emma felt invigorated. She prepared breakfast with a smile painting her face, every berry, every slice of toast added to the anticipation bubbling in her veins. "Guess what?" she said, bustling into the living room where Mia was sorting through decorations. "We're going to have a block party with barbecue and games and so much fun. It's all coming together." Mia's eyes sparkled. Lucas sauntered in, yawning but intrigued. "Are people really going to come?" "Everyone's counting on it," Emma replied, confidence swelling within her. "And if we lean on each other, who knows what we can create." Day turned to night, and the block party unfolded with laughter echoing through their neighborhood. Families gathered in the park, drawn by the aroma of barbecue and the allure of games. Children darted around, their laughter lifting spirits like balloons in the sky. Emma mingled, feeling that pulse of togetherness in her community. She helped serve food, exchanged stories, and soaked in the smiles of those she hadn't connected with in years. "Look at all the people!" Mia exclaimed, eyes wide with uncontained energy. Emma smiled at the connection. "This is just the beginning," she said, feeling a flood of joy rush through her as she glanced at Mr. Thompson chatting with Mrs. Delgado, laughter spilling between them. A new chapter for everyone. Lucas joined, holding a plate piled high with food. "This is awesome. We'll have to do this again." "You bet we will." Emma laughed, feeling her heart swell. And as the sun sank low, bathing the park in a rosy glow, Emma knew no matter how many hurdles lay ahead, they had each other. They were no longer just neighbors, they were a community rising together, ready to weave new tales, support one another, and embrace whatever came next. Her heart danced, brimming with the realization that every ending is just a new beginning waiting to unfold in the beautiful tapestry called life. So now, if you felt the impact of this journey, it's your turn to support our community. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these stories alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share and shine the light on love and connection.